Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Talk back into the video today. Today, the Houston Texans have released Tim Boyle, quarterback, who had a very impressive preseason this year with the Houston Texans. Here were his preseason numbers for the Houston Texans. He threw 35 for 56, throwing 281 passing yards and 2 passing touchdowns. Did not throw a single interception. Tim Boyle's been in the NFL since 2019. He started 2 games last year for the New York Jets. Quarterback record was 0-2, 48 for 77, with a completion percentage of 62.3%, not bad. Threw 360 passing yards in the 2 games, throwing 1 passing touchdown and throwing 4 interceptions, which in the preseason, in 4 games for the Houston Texans, he did not throw a single interception. In 2022, he played 1 game for the Bears, and in that game, he threw 2 for 8 with 33 passing yards. 2021, he started 3 games for the Detroit Lions through 61 for 94, and he threw 526 passing yards, 3 passing touchdowns, 5 interceptions. He has not done great in the NFL as a starter, but he looked really good for the Texans in the preseason. That's number 1. And number 2, this is a guy that would have been a QB3 for the Texans, not a QB1. So as a QB first, a guy that's going to be the quarterback 3, he's been pretty solid. He's just he's not even the backup for CJ Stroud, and I think we're gonna see him sign back to the Texans. Is my prediction. Case Keenum was placed on the injured reserve. Foot injury, he's out for the season. That's a tough blow for the Texans. But when you have a guy like Tim Boyle, he looked really good in the preseason, threw 2 touchdown passes, 281 passing yards, no interceptions. Then you're confident in picking him back up with Case Keenum down. Hope to not see Tim Boyle on the football field because you want to see CJ Stroud healthy and ready to go and not miss a single snap. But you want to be aware because C.J. Stroud did miss 2 games last year due to a concussion. You don't want to see that happen again, but if it does, you want to be ready for it. The Texans, I felt like last year they did a good job. They had guys ready to go that had starting experience like Case Keenum and Davis Mills. Case Keenum got the 2 starts against Cleveland and Tennessee. Texans went 1-1 in that period where C.J. missed the 2 games. Everything was fine. Texans made the playoffs, still went 10-7. So, I feel like, you do the same thing again this year if you pick up Tim Boyle. If CJ goes down, you have Davis Mills ready to go, a guy who has starting experience with the Houston Texans. And then if the Texans, I'll give two different, ways of this happening for Tim Boyle to get on the football field. Either A, Davis Mills also gets hurt, and you have to have Tim Boyle come in. Or, just like last year, I think when C.J. Stroud got the concussion last year in New York, it felt like everybody expected. This is just what I expected it too. It felt like everybody expected that Davis Mills was going to start. I was preparing for it. I remember I did a post game against the New York Jets. Texans lost that game brutally in New York. It was like 30-6 or something like that. They played terrible in New York, and C.J. Stroud got a concussion. And I remember they were talking about that it was a concussion for C.J. Stroud, and I said, it's looking like he won't play. He won't be available to next week, and if that happens, Davis Mills is going to start. And for the next couple days, I prepared as if Davis Mills was going to start. And then Texans kind of shocked everybody and announced they were going to start Case Keenum in Tennessee. Then Texans won in Tennessee. They decided to do the same thing in Cleveland. Case Keenum did not look good against Cleveland in Houston on Christmas Eve. They went to Davis Mills. He threw 2 touchdown passes in the 4th quarter. So, I don't know. I mean, you could see it happen again where maybe the Texans aren't 100% confident in Davis Mills, and they say, and shock everyone again, say, hey, we're going to start Tim Boyle instead of starting Davis Mills. I don't think that would happen because I thought Davis looked really good in training camp and preseason. But if they did it last year, they could definitely do it again if anything were to happen to CJ. But let's all pray to God CJ Stroud plays every single snap. Or I wouldn't say every single snap because there are going to be times where, there are going to be times where maybe the Texans have a blowout win. Or maybe they get their butts kicked. Like I mentioned, they lost 30-6 against the Jets. So maybe we will see times where there's no really real reason to keep him in the ball game if you're up big or you're down big. So in those situations, I don't care to see CJ on the field if the Texans are up huge. And all they need to do is, just run the clock out. But in the big situations, we want to see CJ Stroud healthy. So let me know your thoughts on the Texans releasing Tim Boyle. Want to see him on the practice squad for the Houston Texans with Case Keenum going down for the season. Let me know your thoughts on the release in the comment section, and peace out.